Alright, good morning. Welcome to the stream. I am streaming on a Friday, which is good because it's the end of the week, but it's a very snowy Friday. We're expecting many, many inches of snow today, where I live, in the northeast region of the United States. But that won't stop me from looking at the next chapter in the Roguelike tutorial. How's that for a segue? Which is cursed items and mitigation thereof. Yesterday, or the past few days, we've been refactoring the item use system and pulling out a bunch of code and sprinkling it around, and trying to make it in general more modular, I guess would be a good term for it. I'm just trying to take a look here. What did we do? We added, I guess we can take a look at the mod, right? So we added this effect type, and then we've added an effect queue. So any action that takes place can be added to a queue, and then we process the queue during the every tick will process the queue. So effects can pile on top of each other by just adding themselves to the queue. You know, if one effect makes another effect happen, we just do continue to add things to the queue until we process the whole queue. And hopefully there's no loops in there, right, where we just infinitely add things to the queue. The game itself hasn't changed much because all the stuff that we've been doing is the infrastructure behind the scenes. One of the things that did change is the fact that we don't have custom messages now for things getting triggered. We added something to trigger an action when you're stepping on an altar, you heal, but it would be nice if it actually said, you heal for how many hit points instead of altar triggers. And I'm hoping that we will eventually get to that. But for today, we're going to start with cursed items. So let's dive right in. Oh, let me pop out my chat here real quick before I go so I don't miss anybody. Here we go. Hi, Diablo. Yes, snow. Mega snow. All right, so now that we have solid magical items framework, right, that was the other part of it. It was that the magic items have actually, let's see, raw master. Right, we created this function down here, which adds any item can now have any effect added to it, which is nice. And then these items are defined in our JSON file. So it's time to add in cursed items. These are a mainstay of the roguelike genre, albeit one that, if overused, can really annoy your players. Cursed items are part of the item identification minigame that provide a risk to equipping/using an item before you know what it does. If there's no risk to equipping everything you find, a player will do just that to find out what they are, and the minigame is pointless. On the other hand, if there are too many cursed items, the player will become extremely conservative in item use and won't touch things until they know for sure what they are. So, like many things in life, it's tough to balance. It's a tough balance to strike. Diablo says it's gonna snow up here today. All right. Are you on the east coast of the U.S. also? I know there's snow that's stretching quite a long way along the coast. So your basic longsword -1. As a simple example, we'll start by implementing a cursed longsword. We already have a longsword +1, so it's relatively easy to define a JSON for one that has penalties instead of benefits. Oh, you're in Maine. Oh, very nice. Down east Maine? All right, so let's open up our spawns.json. There we go. Oh, very cool. Yeah. I'm not too far from Portland myself. Okay, so let's find our +1 longsword. I think we can just do this. Yep, and then we can just copy paste, or we can just paste this in. There we go. Drew3 says, what's this all about? Okay, so this is, I'm glad you asked, Drew 3. And hi, and welcome. We are making a roguelike in Rust using this tutorial. I put a link to the tutorial in the description, but I can throw it in chat. In Ellsworth, I'm not familiar with Ellsworth, but 4-hour drive from Portland, that's pretty far. Okay, Drew says, sorry, I'm on chapter 10 of the book. Oh, you're okay. So you're already going through this. So we're creating cursed items now. So we're a little bit further ahead than you are. And when you say chapter 10, I imagine this is back here somewhere. Here we go. Range scrolls and targeting. 15 minutes from Bar Harbor. Bar Harbor. Right. Okay. That's a nice area, Bar Harbor. Okay. So we have the -1 longsword. And now you'll notice that there's a 2-hit and damage penalty. More of an initiative penalty. And we've added cursed true to the magic. Okay. So yeah, we have a hit bonus -1. The base damage is -1 instead of +1 like here. And we have an initiative penalty of 3. Its class is common. Its naming is unidentified longsword, just like this is, so you can't tell. But the cursed is set to true. We're not handling curse right now. Most of this already just works, but the curse part is new. To start supporting this, we'll add it to the item structs. Okay, so let's save that and open up item structs. Under magic item. Okay, pub, cursed, option bool. Okay, very good. We've made it an option, so you don't have to specify it for non-cursed items. Right, so it's none if it isn't cursed. I guess, does that make sense though? Because it could just be default. Or maybe this is for the JSON parser, so you don't have to add it to the JSON. So now we need a new component to indicate that an item is in fact cursed. So of course this goes in components. And it's just a tag. Okay. All right, and we will add that to main, where we register everything. And I'm going to sort that into place, and then in save load, I guess it doesn't matter where it goes, cursed item. There we go. Next up, we'll adjust spawn named item to handle adding the cursed component to cursed items. Okay. So here's spawn named item. Now, I guess we're not using this apply effects because it's not an effect. We just have to see if it's... Here's the magic template part, right? So it goes right in here. Rare or legendary. It's a magic item. So anything that's cursed is automatically magic. We have scroll, potion, and nothing. And then down here, after we've determined whether or not it's a scroll, potion, or something else, obfuscated name, then we'll say if let some cursed magic cursed. Okay. So that will apply it from the JSON to the actual entity in question. And we can do a quick check. That should all just check. So let's pop back to spawns.json and give them the chance to spawn. For now, we'll make them appear everywhere so it's easy to test them. Okay. So we have a +1. Let's just copy that and make it a -1. We'll set the weight to 100 so they appear everywhere. And min depth 1, so they should start appearing in town. Okay, so we could do that. Let's give this a shot. This will take about 22 seconds to build, 23 seconds to build, and then we can try it out. Where's my tab? There it is. Okay. There we go. 23 seconds we're up to now. All right, so somewhere, let's go here. That's an unidentified longsword. So if we pick it up, it's in our inventory. It's green, indicating that it's magical somehow. If I hit C, it still says unidentified longsword. But it does say down here, you equip longsword -1. That's a bug. All right, let me add that to the bugs. When equipping magic items, need to use the obfuscated name. Question mark. Oh wait, so maybe what's happening here? No, this shouldn't be still unidentified. If I say remove, it does still say unidentified, so it hasn't been de-obfuscated. Okay. Identification already works, so equipping this cursed sword tells you what it is, but there's absolutely no penalty for doing so other than it having poor stats when you use it. That's a great start. Alright, so it almost works, right? It is identifying it when you pick it up, but it's not changing the name on the GUI for some reason. That's a bug, right? If I wield the Rusty Longsword, this goes back to Rusty Longsword, and it still says unidentified here, but equips here. So maybe there's a bug in the GUI code. Let's take a look at the GUI real quick here, where we display. There's initiative penalty, right? There's the gold section, and then here's all the equipped items. Yeah, so we're calling get item display name, which should tell us what. Where is that? It should tell us what the real name is. Oh yeah, it is in GUI. Okay. Oh, hi, Lord Poseidon. How are you? My NVIM config is really minimal. Yeah, probably. All I did was steal toggle bits, which is here. If you're interested in seeing it, I tweaked it a little bit to make it a little more friendly to my own fingers, but it's essentially just that. It's very minimal. So we read the storage magic item. So all I'm trying to do is figure out what the bug is here. Why is this showing unidentified longsword, but when I equip it, it's showing the longsword -1. So there's a bug here. It's saying if it's obfuscated, then we read the obfuscated name, and that's the correct thing to do. But once we put it on, it should remove the obfuscation from it. In fact, when it says this, it says you equip. Let's look for that text. And that's in use equip. So let's take a look. Oh, was that in the inventory system? I've already forgotten. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So you equip. Oh yeah, so this just gets the name. It doesn't look to see what the item display name is. It just shows the name if it's. Oh, and then at this point here, when we equip it, that's when we should remove the obfuscation. Right? And that must, maybe I lost that. Okay. No, that's mine. What's this? That's chapter 56. Okay, so let's go to chapter 60. Oh, I can't. Let's go to chapter 64, which is the chapter I'm on. and take a look at their item use, the use equip. Actually, we finished 63, so that way we can look right there. Inventory system, use, oh, they don't have a use equip. Is it all in the use system? What is this? This is the item equip on use. Okay. Lord Poseidon says, I'm starting with RLTK Rust. I still don't know much Rust, much less about game mechanics, but I will complete it. It's a very long tutorial, as we can see. And I will, this is called Equip Use. So I will be cheering you on from the sidelines here, let's say. Do we need... Somewhere we need to remove the obfuscated tag. And I don't see that here, right? There would be an obfuscated name thing in here that gets removed. So let's maybe we can just look for that here. Not in the whole repo. I just want to look in the one. Okay, this is the identification system. Okay, let's take a look at that. We got to track this bug down before we go any further. Okay, so we're going to look for obfuscated name. Oh, right, and then obfuscated names comes here. So all this is doing, what this system is doing is going through, and any item that is not in the identified items. For every identified item. Oh, here we go. Identified item. We have to figure out how that gets added. It is in the use system. When use equip doesn't have it. Okay, let's take a look at the use system. Because I've already forgotten. Yeah, so identified item gets where? So if we're trying to do it, we're gonna do an identify right here. Let's console log this and see if that shows up. RLTK console log identifying item, and we can just say names. Oh, we've got to format that, right? Format bang. Names I get, use item, unwrap, name. Can we get away with that without doing the clone? Let's find out. Oh, did I forget to close a brace or something? Oh, I did. I forgot an open. That's what I forgot. Okay. Mizzard says open after format. Yep. And it looks like we caught it at the same time. All right, so let's do this. Let's rerun this and see if we actually identify longsword -1, and it should show up in the console here. And it should say whether or not it's identifying it when we pick it up. Yeah. All right, come on. There we go. So let's go to the next level, find all these longswords lying around, pick it up. It does say unidentified longsword. It's not showing up here now. Interesting. And if I equip it, see, it does not come through here and show that we went through the identify code. So we did not hit this. Does this mean this needs to go in the item use system? Not the use system, the use equip as well. This code here. Let's try it and see what happens. So we'll copy that. We'll go to use equip. And we will that removes it, and this wields it. So I guess we can just do it right here. Right? And then I think we're going to have to add. Do we have player entity? We probably don't, right? Oh no, we do. We have player entity, and we do not have entity. This is use item. No, target. Right, this is the target. It comes out of the entities. If it's the player entity, then we identify the item. We do have the names. And we have the use item. We do need this identified item though. So let's add that. And it's going to be right storage because we're going to add to it. And that's going to be mutt identified items. Like that. Nope, it's not called that. What's it called? It's called identified item. Okay. So that should do that. And this is not entity, this is target. I think that's all the changes. Okay, let's see if this does the trick. I'm going to wait another 20 seconds here. Who's looking forward to getting back to the crafting interpreters next week? I'm going to be starting chapter 6.3. All right, let's do a refresh any second now. There we go. Okay, begin a new game, turn on God mode, jump to the next level, pick up the longsword. Hit C. Okay, so now it's identified. Now it says longsword -1. And if I look at my, remove, now it says longsword -1. If I remove D, which we can do right now, now it's in my inventory. Okay, so that was the trick. Lord Poseidon says, what's crafting interpreters? So there's this website. Let me put in the chat. They, this guy, I forgot his name already, wrote this book called Crafting Interpreters, and you write two interpreters for the Locks language. One is in Java and one is in C, and I'm porting them to Rust, or at least trying to. Like I keep saying, I'm sure I'm going to run into issues where I just don't know enough Rust to be able to handle what's being done. And that's how I learn. All right, so I think this is ready for... Wow, that's a lot more changes than I thought we made. Okay. Oh, and we fixed the bug, so we can remove that from bugs text. Right? Yep. Okay, so git add source and raws, git commit, long sword -1, added. There we go. And now letting the player know that it's cursed. In GUI, we carefully color items by class. We'd like cursed items to go red, but only if you know that they are cursed. So you don't look at your inventory list and say, oh, that's cursed, better not equip it. So let's modify that function to provide this functionality. So get item color. Okay. It doesn't say where it is. Oh, it's in GUI. Okay, it does say where it is. Okay. Get item color. There we go. All right. So we're still doing this. And we still do this. We just have this little thing in between. Okay, so let dm is ECS fetch, create map, master done, show the map. Okay, and then so if the item has a name and it's cursed item. Oh, the slow dev, thank you for the follow. I'm just trying to read this code here. So we're going to show the color, common, rare, and legendary. Or we're going to show it red if it's a cursed item. Oh, and it's identified. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so if ECS read storage cursed item get item is some and DM identified items contains name, then we're going to return red. Otherwise, we're going to drop down. Oh, I keep doing that. Okay, there we go. Otherwise, we'll drop down and just return the color based on the class of the item. Okay, so let's try that out and see if it goes red after we've identified it. Ooh, cursed item doesn't exist. Okay, so let's try this out. Yeah, so we can see in this little animated GIF demo, it's an unidentified longsword. They equip it, and as soon as they equip it, it switches to a red longsword -1. All right, so let's try that out for ourselves, shall we? We shall. Here's one. Pick it up. It's unidentified. I look at it. It's green, unidentified. I put it on. It's now red. Oh, and this is identifying item. I got to get rid of those console log messages. Okay. But I can put on the rusty longsword. It is identifying it, but it's already identified. And then if I look at my inventory, it's showing up as red still. Okay, good. That works. Let's get rid of those console log messages. Use equip console log, and then what was the other one? Use item, use system. Yeah. Okay. Mizzard asks, should you be able to unequip a cursed item? That's a good question, and that's what's coming up next, preventing the unequipping of cursed items. So, status, git add source, git commit, cursed identified items show as red. Good. So the easy case for preventing removal is the inventory system remove system. It simply takes an item and puts it into your backpack. We can just make this conditional and we're good to go. Here's the source code for the system. Whoops. Didn't mean to do the S there. Remove system. So what's new here? And of course, everything is in a different order again. Well, I don't know why it keeps changing the order of these things every time we look at them. There's the game log cursed item. We got to add cursed item in. Okay. And we'll do that. And it's going to be a read storage. So I'll just put it here. And we'll just put cursed here. So if cursed get to remove item is some, you cannot remove blah, it is cursed. Okay. Otherwise, we do the equipped remove and the backpack insert. What happens with this part though? Hmm. Okay, I'm a bit of a loss because this was here. We need to be able to handle it. Oh, maybe this is supposed to be down here. You unequip, you equip. This is you remove the something. I don't. So I'm a little lost with this. Let me dig into their code here real quick and see. It was this, right? Okay, let's look at their. Yeah, we were in the inventory system. So in the remove system. Oh yeah, so they didn't have that. So I must. This must be extraneous, or somehow when we did the refactor, I didn't realize that this wasn't necessary anymore. Does it say you remove when I do it? It says you equip and you unequip. Oh, okay. But for some reason, we're not picking up on this stuff. Okay, so if I take this out, that won't change the way it's behaving, because you can see it's not saying you remove. I say remove stained tunic. Oh, it does say you remove the stained tunic. Okay. So where does that text go? Burge, hi. I don't know the answer to your question. I just saw it now about user agents and working in Windows 10. I'm not on Windows 10, so I can't help you. Wink 3000 says, which NeoVim plugin is your favorite? I don't have one. I don't have a favorite. I'm using... What am I using? Whatever's in the setup here. Is what comes with this. What comes with my setup here. So what's my favorite one? FZF. There you go. Okay, so all right, let's do this, and then we're gonna have to figure out, because we might not be able to remove once I've deleted that code there. Let me comment it out instead of deleting it. Because I've got a feeling we still need it. Let's shift those lines over and we'll say if curst get to remove item is some game log entries push format. You cannot remove it. It is cursed. And its name is dot some long thing, right? Get to remove item unwrap name. Okay, else we do this. Okay, but does this mean that does this mean we can no longer remove things, because we're not going to get this equipment changed and we're not going to see this remove message? So I'm going to build this and see what happens. And see if I can remove the tunic and the boots. I should be able to say remove old boots. And it says you remove old boots. Right, so we're no longer checking to see if it's a player entity to give the game log message, which I guess we should be doing, even in this change. Right, this change here, we should check to see if we're dealing with the player entity. All right, so let me refresh. Let me do this. I'm going to set remove D, old boots. So it removes them, but it doesn't say I remove them. And they're in my backpack. If I put them on, now it says I equip them. All right, so maybe when we clean up this this code here, maybe that'll do the trick. Because it is definitely going through this, the item equip on use. Or maybe we just don't care about remove messages. Maybe we only care about equip messages. I mean, that could be. Let's assume that that's the case and just remove the code from here because it's working, right? I guess we don't need the equipment changed message to go through. I'm just worried that I'm going to break something. Okay. We don't need the entity here, which means we don't need the player entity. We don't need the dirty here, which means we don't need equipment changed. Which is this one here. Was that the only two? Player entity, dirty. Yeah. Right. Okay, let's see. That should check. Okay. All right, so then let's update the case of equip use, which we called use equip in the previous chapter. I'm not sure why he changed the name of the file. Is a bit more complicated. We equip the item, scan for items to replace, and unequip the replacement item. We have to change this around a bit. Look for what to remove, see if it is cursed, and cancel if it is with a message. And then if it is still valid, actually perform the swap. You also want to not identify the item if you can't equip it, to avoid giving a fun backdoor in which you equip a cursed item and then use it to identify all the other cursed items. We can adjust the system like this. Right, so if you put on a cursed item and then you try to wield another cursed item that would take that slot, we want to make sure that it doesn't say, oh, you just identified the thing you tried to put on but couldn't put on, which makes sense to me. All right, so we are in inventory system, use equip. So it's the item equip on use system. Entity, game log, entities, wants to use item name, equipable, equipped, in backpack, equipment change, identified item. Okay, so all we're doing is adding cursed item. And it's a read storage. Okay. It's complaining about cognitive complexity. I don't know. I haven't seen Clippy warn me about that before. Okay, and we just add cursed here. So this line's the same, right? We have a list of entities. We go through the targets. If it's equipable, then we try to equip it. Remove any items in that slot. Okay, so now can equip. That's true. And then log entries. So those two lines are new. So we're going to now loop over item entity already equipped and name. So we still do that. Okay, now here's where we're going to check to see if it's cursed. Okay, if cursed get item entity is some. Oh, coding packets. Thank you for the follow. All right, and then game log entries. You cannot. It is cursed. So that's that. Else, we do the thing we were doing before. Right? Just like that. And then we check before we do anything else. Ooh. We don't want to do this. Here's identify. Okay, so we're going to move this up here. right? That's that part. And then we have for item to unequip, and then we have for LE and log entries. Oh, I see. Where do we put entries into the log entries? Right there. Okay. That's interesting. So this goes right to the game log, but this says log entries. Oops. Like that. And I guess you could have more than one. But right now we only have the one. Okay. So after we do that, we'll say for LE in log entries iter game log entries. Yeah, Mizzard says, I can't find any use equip in previous chapters. Equip use was introduced in chapter 63. Yeah, so maybe I just misread when they said the file name here. Let's see, use equip.rs. No, okay, so they did. They did use equip.rs for the name here, but then in the code, in the repo, they called it equip use. So I have it backwards based on this thing, unfortunately. Push LE to string. Isn't already string? Because we did a format. I'm going to leave out the toString and see what happens. Then there's wield. And then remove use push target. That still has to happen. And all of this is going to be inside its own block here of can equip. So right after wield. Okay. Wield is equipped, insert the backpack, and then the game log. And then after that is this, right? So this. Yeah. Okay. So that shifts everything over by a little bit. And then we're done with the item there. And then we do this. The equipment changed. Okay. So does this check? We have a couple of failures here. Oh, it's no longer log entries push. And then this. Yeah, you do need the toString. I thought there would already be strings based on this format here. But I guess not. Okay. So we moved identification down beneath the item scanning and added a can use bool. If the switch would result in unequipping a cursed item, we cancel the job. If you cargo run the project now, you'll find that there's no way to remove cursed equipment once it's wielded. So right now, did I have code to do it, to prevent the removal, or did I forget to run that? So if I wield C and then I say remove D, I can't. Oh yeah, I cannot remove longsword -1, it is cursed. If I pick this guy up, oh, now it's identified for all longswords. Here's the one I'm wielding, and here's the one in my inventory. If I wield A, I can swap it out, and now I have 2 longswords -1. Okay. I was hoping to be able to test the theory of trying to put on a cursed one and getting it identified by for free, basically. Okay, so now we're going to talk about removing curses. Let's add this. So actually, we should be able to build this and not be able to put on or wield the rusty longsword, right? Because right now I can remove, if I say wield D and then wield A, I can remove the cursed item, even though removing it by hand, saying remove D, fails. It says you cannot remove. So after I refresh now, if I wield C and then try to wield A, it says you cannot unequip longsword -1. And I still have longsword there. I still have my rusty longsword in my inventory and the longsword -1 in my... And this says you cannot remove. So that's the difference is between removing. So let's see if I can remove boots. Yeah, it just doesn't have a message. Okay. So this is good. What did we do? Prevent the removal. You cannot equip a cursed item over another cursed item. Okay. Prevent equipping an item over a cursed item. All right. We're making good progress in this chapter, actually. We might be done before my time is up. Removing curses. Now that the player can accidentally curse themselves, it would be a good idea to give them a way to recover from their mistake. So let's add the traditional scroll of remove curse. Okay. Let's put it with the other scrolls. Here, here's a magic mythical scroll. Let's put it right here. Copy paste. All right, so what's special about this? It just has a remove curse effect. 50, wow. And we need it to be able to spawn. I guess we can just put it here. Yep. Everything else is the same. The only thing, only new thing there is the effect remove curse, right? We'll handle it like other effects. So we start by making a new component, right? So entity component systems really lean hard on components. We have millions of components now. Okay, and then in main, we have to register it. Sort that into place, and then save load curse provides remove curse. There. Okay, that should all check, right? And then we'll extend our macro to add the remove curse thing. And that's in raw master. Okay, remove curse. EB is eb.width provides remove curse. Just like that. HQL says, does the tutorial go over memory management in WASM at all? It does not. We just use WASM. And actually, it's something that I kind of... They have it at the beginning of the tutorial to show you how to set it up in WASM, but they assume that you're just running it directly from the command line. Like here, if I say cargo on. The only thing is with this, if I run it from the command line, it's a little more annoying because I have to keep, scrolling back and forth. And it's just easier from my streaming perspective to be able to just run it in a browser window and flip back and forth all on the same screen. But this all kind of works. It's also kind of tiny here. We can make it bigger, but it's not. It doesn't resize proportionally, so it looks really bad when I resize it larger. Anyway. HGirl says, I'm building my own RLTK, but currently leaking memory all over the place. Got to figure it out. Oh, interesting. I wonder if there are tools for WASM find leaks. I wonder if there are tools for that. This says you can use mscripten. I haven't noticed any. Yeah, I haven't noticed any memory issues with this, but every so often I'll restart the browser window anyway, so maybe a very small leak over a long term doesn't affect me because of that. All right, so we did this, we got this, and now we have to remove the curse items. Now that we have removed curse items correctly tagged, all that remains is to make them function. When you use the scroll, it should show you all the items that you know are cursed and let you pick one to defang. This will require a new run state. So we'll add that, but not in main. I don't put it in main, I put it in the game state because main was getting too big. So here is going to be a show remove curse. And then somewhere along the way, we have to add that. We'll also add it to the ticking escape clauses. Okay. All right, so this was our thing to draw the GUI and render the camera. And this is just something here. Run, state, show, remove, curse, and we're just leaving it empty for now. But there's this ticking thing that needs to be handled, which is where? Wow. The show vendor is kind of big, isn't it? Where's ticking? There it is. Okay. So, oh, there's remove curse. Okay. So run state, show remove curse, new run state, show remove curse. Okay, that's interesting, that because that's not the only one that's like that, right? Town portal is like that. So we run the systems, then we come fetch the current run state. If the current run state is show remove curse, then we're going to make our new run state show remove curse, and then we're going to break out of the while loop that way. And then we come back to the top of this thing on the next tick, and we go into the show remove curse thing. All right, well, it is what it is. Now we'll open up effects triggers and support the run state transition. I put it after magic mapping. Okay. There's triggers, magic mapper. It's right there. I'm sure it doesn't really matter where it goes, but let's be consistent with them. Remove curse, because we're so consistent everywhere else. If ECS read storage provides remove curse. And then our new run state is run state show remove curse. And we have to say that we did something because that way we'll consume it. Oh, that's going to consume the item right away, isn't it? Once we go into that show remove curse, if we end up trying to, yeah, so the did something is going to say, oh, we did it. And then we're going to delete the item. So I'm already not liking that. Ishkul says this looks like a great tutorial to follow. Thanks for the inspiration. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I'm not sure how I found it. I think I was probably on the Roguelike website somewhere. There's a Roguelike meetup or convention. I forget what it's called. I had a link to it. It's Roguelike Celebration. That's it. Roguelike.club. And I think I may have found it through this website. Let me put a link to this, because this is a really neat website. They have videos from previous roguelike celebrations up on YouTube for all the previous years, and some of them are really good videos. I recommend checking them out if you like roguelikes. All right, so now we have to go into GUI and make another item list system. Right. So let's make sure this checks, because there might be another place where we need to handle that. No, there isn't. Okay, GUI. So what we did before, back in the olden days, was we created this generic, where is it? Draw a show menu function, which handles the inventory, drop item menu, and remove item menu. And then, right, it has the same kind of thing where we display, if I hit I, for example, it shows the inventory. So this is going through this code and putting this little box around all the items, and putting the escape to cancel. That's right here. You can see that here. So that's showing up there. And it made it very simple to just show the menu. And then we added this thing, the vendor menus. Oh, that's range target. There we go. Show vendor menu. And the vendor menu has their own thing, and it's exactly the same code, right? Escape to cancel, sell which item, and it's pretty much the same thing. And it would be nice to refactor this into using the show menu, but the code down here where we handle the keys are slightly different, because we have to handle flipping back and forth between buy mode and sell mode, right? If I hit refresh here and start a new game, I go here, now we're in the vendor sell, right? And if I hit space, we switch over to the vendor buy, and that's handled here. When we hit the space bar, we switch to buy, and then down here in the vendor buy menu, if I go down, we hit space, we go to vendor sell. So it would be nice to handle that all in one menu bit of code. Oh, I keep going there. And the reason I'm bringing it up now is because it looks like we're adding yet another thing, remove curse menu. And maybe what we should try to do is try to refactor that. And maybe that'll be a good thing for its own stream. Because if we look up here, fun show menu, right? What we're doing is we're passing in what to look for, right? Whether it's owned or not. To show inventory, to drop things or remove things, to say, oh, is it equipped? Is it in a backpack? And this one actually says in backpack also, right? But this is showing the inventory versus drop, and it's exactly the same thing. It just returns the thing that the user chose. So it would be nice to say pub fun, remove curse menu, blah, 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 and then have it say show menu, cursed item, right? But we would have to do something different, because instead of just pulling everything out of the backpack, we actually have to loop over the things that are cursed and then look to see if we know that they're cursed, right? So I think we're just gonna have to bite the bullet on this guy and write the whole thing here, and then we can refactor it. Like I said, maybe the next stream, the next roguelike stream, we can refactor it. Curse menu. I think it's just entity. Yep. Okay. So, and I think most of it is going to be similar, right? We have the player entity. We grab that. We need the backpack. We need the entities. So we can just copy paste all those. What did I miss? Equipped is ECS read storage equipped, like that. And then we have, we also have to grab items, cursed, names, and DM. I just grab this. Say items, cursed, names, and DM. Oh, that DM is a fetch. So it's one of those. Okay. So DM fetch master dungeon map. And these becomes item, cursed item, and name. And this changes to cursed and names. Okay. So let build cursed iterator equals, and then we're passing in a lambda function, I guess. Build cursed iterator. And then filter on item, entity, item, cursed. So we don't care about that. We just care whether or not it's what its entity is. But the reason we have to do it this way is because we want to join on every entity that is an item and has the cursed flag. Okay. If BP owner is the player, oh, wrong character there. Okay, so now it's, you know what we can do is just say keep equals, right? There's no reason to make that inside an if. Yeah, and you can't combine the if-lets, unfortunately. That's too bad. It's equipped, so we know it's cursed. It's equipped so we know it's cursed because it has to be cursed if we found it in this join. If let sum equip, it's equipped get item entity. Again, we can just say keep equals this. And if I put on, if I put brackets around this, will Rust complain that they're redundant? Probably. Okay, so this is our iterator, which does extra filtering. Oh, and then we actually, the iterator has, the filter actually has to return true or false. So we have to say keep here. I missed that line. Good thing I went back over that. Count, let's build cursed iterator, count. Okay, didn't this just consume the iterator here? Okay, and now we're doing basically the same thing as up above with show menu, where we get the count here. And then, yeah, I have a to-do of remove the hard-coded 25. This should be based on the screen size, not on the, not on just that hard-coded number. But this is all the same, right? We might be able to just copy-paste most of this and then just look to see what's different. Yep, we'll save some typing. Okay, so we have draw box, 15, y minus 2, count plus 3 is I32, white and black. Oh, I don't have white and black. I gotta grab these colors. There we go. So what else is there? Yellow, black, and remove curse from which item? And that's the heading. go. And if there aren't any, that's going to be an issue, right? Because I was saying before that reading the scroll will consume it, even if you don't remove a curse from anything. What if there's nothing cursed in your inventory? All right, so those are those lines, and we still have escape to cancel, and I'll leave that alone. Then we have equipable. We go through. Oh, this is different. We have entity and then underscore here, but we need all three, right? Item and cursed. And then build cursed iterator enumerate. Oh, okay. So, yes. So this consumes the iterator here to get the count, and then we rerun the iterator to enumerate over it. Okay. All right. Now I get it. It'd be nice to just build a vec out of it, right? Just do a collect on it, and then just use the vec. But all right, I'm not gonna. 21Y, get item color, black. Guess we can make this black. Get item display name, and the equipable.push is the same. Y plus equals 1. Okay, and then we have to handle the key. And if it's some key, we'll match on the key and return. Okay, virtual key code escape. So if somebody types escape, then we're going to cancel. Item menu result cancel none. And virtual, oh, everything else is going to be let selection. So that means they typed a letter, RLTK letter to option key. This option is not a Rust style option. This is just, it's a number, right? So the options are A, B, C, D, E, and this letter to option converts A to 1 and B to 2 and so on. Or maybe it's 0. Let's see if I can jump to it real quick. Yeah, A to 0, B to 1, C to 2, and so on. So that's all this does. If selection is greater than -1, which means it was a letter, and selection less than count, which means it was one of the items chosen, then we're going to return item menu results selected and some equipable selection as usize. I think that's usize. Yep. Done. Otherwise, we didn't do anything. Item menu result no response. None. Okay. And the result of this match is the return of the function. Yeah. Then in main, we just need to finish the logic, right? So we're going to actually call show remove curse. Okay. Let's see if this checks first. We might have to add cursed item or something to the imports. Oh, in backpack. Okay. Master dungeon map. And owner is misspelled. No response is misspelled. All right. We're getting 3 warnings, but that's probably because we're not calling this remove curse menu. So let's go do that. Not get. Game state. There we go. Show remove curse. And it's right here. Okay, so let's add this. This is pretty straightforward, I think. Let result is GUI. Remove curse menu. And then match result dot 0 GUI. Menu result, no response. We don't do anything. If they selected an item, see, cancel won't restore the cursed scroll's use state. So I think we do lose the scroll if there's nothing to decurse. Self ECS write storage. Cursed item. Remove item entity. New run state is run state ticking. Okay. So this makes sense, right? Because if they select an item, then the item entity is going to be result.1. We pull out the cursed item components and find the entity in that and remove it from the cursed items. So now it's no longer cursed. It's still probably going to be -1, right? But it's no longer cursed. Let's see if this checks. Why doesn't it like let? Oh, because I forgot to put a arrow. Oh, we still have 3 mornings. Yeah, okay. That's what I thought would happen. It would complain about the redundant parens. I think it makes it easier to read with the parens there, because you can see that this is the group that we're setting keep to. This is obvious, right? But you actually have to spend brain cycles seeing it instead of just with this style. It's instantly readable. And then 559. Oh, okay. We don't need to set it to inventory. Let's see, what did we do here? Oh, that was just extra. Okay. Yeah, that was just extra code we didn't need. I just copied and pasted without thinking. Okay, good. Well, I'm glad it caught that one. That was more annoying than anything else. So this, I really, if you're setting a Boolean to result of a Boolean expression, it's nice to have the brackets around it. Okay, so now we should be able to, oh, we didn't update. Did we add remove? Oh, I think we did. We did add remove curse scrolls to the thing. It's been so long. Let's do a quick git diff just to double check. Yeah, remove curse scroll. The weight's only 4 though, so they're going to be hard to find. Oh, but I can just buy one from the alchemist. Okay. But that also means finding the alchemist. All right, so give me a minute here to see if I can find an alchemist. Who's that? That's a blacksmith. This must be it. Yeah, that's a priest. Oh, that's right. The priest, for some reason, is not set up as a vendor. I have to figure out what the bug is there. That's just some dude. Some dude's house. Who's this? That's mom. Nothing in there. Clothier. There we go. There's the alchemist. Okay, so let's talk to the alchemist here, and we can buy a remove curse scroll right there. C. Uh-oh. I hit C, but nothing happened. Because my gold is 0. It should say something that you don't have enough money. All right, I have a little gold hack here. All right, C. There we go. Oh, that's interesting. It's not identified. All right, so now what we should be able to do is go to here and see if we can find a cursed longsword. We picked it up. It's unidentified. Oh, now now this is identified. Oh, that must have been some sort of a... Okay. If I say unidentified longsword D, now I have a longsword -1, and I should not be able to remove it. Cannot remove longsword, it is cursed. If I hit Shift 3 to cast to read the remove curse scroll, it says remove curse from which item? Oh, this should be a little longer. Alright, we got to add to that. And if I hit A, it goes from red to green, and I should be able to say remove D. And now I can remove it, and now it's in my inventory. Okay, that works. So the only thing that's a little bit wonky is the width of that display. This is XY. Oh, this says 31. Maybe I didn't put in 31 there, because I did it. I just copy pasted that. Remove curse menu. No, it says 31. Let's make it 34. All right. I think that's all we need to do for that, right? So let's add that in. Let's commit these changes. Add source and raws. Git commit. Remove curse scroll. Done. Oh, Sidum33 says, which OS and Window Manager are you using? I am on Mac. I'm on a Mac. And the Window Manager is whatever the Mac has. So, I'm not quite an Arch user. Not yet, anyway. Okay, so identification items. How are we doing on time? Okay, I should have enough time to finish this out. This doesn't seem to be too much more. You can now identify items. Okay, let's do that. So it would be helpful if you could find a humble identification scroll and use it to identify magical items before you try them. Let's start by building the item in spawns. Let's see, we can just find scroll quote. Oh, we have a town portal scroll here. Huh. All right, I'll just put it here with remove curse. There we go. Common scroll, it's in the alchemy, and it's effect tag gets identify. So once again, we need a new component to represent the power. In components, we add that. Oops. So components. And we just say provides identification. Right? And then we have to add it to main. And the save load system. There we go. Just like before, we then need to add it as an effect in Raw Master. And then we also need to add it to the item structs. I guess not. All we do is here is handle it in the triggers. Oh, because we're not adding a new thing type. Let's see. I guess we can just put it here. This is going to make it a whole new menu, right? Actually, it's just this code. instead of show remove curse, it's going to be show identify. Okay. And then we'll pop over to main and add show identify as a run state. Right, we don't have that yet. Game state, that's fine. We'll just throw it here at the bottom. And then add it as an escape clause. Seems like, there's got to be a better way to do this, right? And then handle it in our tick system. Right, so show identify. Let's put it right after the show remove curse, because I think it's going to be the same exact code, right? Instead of this, it's just the identify menu. And in here, the difference is we're going to get the name. And you get the dungeon master, self ECS fetch mute. And then we're going to say DM identified items, insert name clone, and that identifies the item for us, and we don't have to worry about that, and our new run state is ticking. And finally, open up the GUI and provide the menu. So this is exactly the same, right? Except it's not build cursed iterator. We don't want everything that's cursed. We want any item that's... Okay, so this is a copy-paste issue here. We want obfuscated. So that line is right. So this comment is wrong, I think. And this variable name is wrong. But you see how this is identical code to what we just added. So this should complain that identify menu doesn't exist. Right? And so now let's go over to our GUI code and add it. Remove curse menu, and it's exactly the same. The difference is here, cursed item instead of obfuscated. And this is going to say identify which item. Backpack get, check the player's entity, see if it's the name, and then we say here obfuscated get is some and it's not identified. So that's the difference there. Okay, so I can't just copy paste it. I actually have to pass in, maybe that's something we need to do, is pass in a function to call. So let's just copy this whole thing. It's painful. And we'll just say pub fun identify menu. Right? Okay, so player entity equipped in backpack, entities, items, names, DM, and then obfuscated. And it's just, this will be an obfuscated name. And instead of cursed iterator, we're going to build an obfuscated iterator. We don't need this cursed thing here anymore. Which means we don't need it here. So the refactoring is a little harder, right? So that's what I'm saying. If we just pass in the filter, That would allow us to reuse all the menu code. Keep is false, BP backpack, right? Owner, there we go. And then keep, we're going to say, keep is going to be obfuscated get item entity and not identified contains, right? And this is a little different too. This comment is wrong. We can tell that right away. And we'll just say if equip owner is equal to player identity, player entity, then we have to see if let some name and then we're going to check the obfuscated. So keep is going to be equal to this, the same exact thing up here, right? Yeah, so that's exactly the same. And then we return keep and we're done. So then the count, it becomes build obfuscated iterator. This is all the same. I push that out to 34 and this becomes identify which item, question mark. And then this is all the same. Equipable push, right? And then we have the same exact thing here. And again, equipable shouldn't be equipable. It should be identifiable. Right? And that's also a copy paste thing. And I think I'm just scanning right now real quick here. That's why I'm being quiet. What else needs to change? And I think that's everything. Yeah, okay. I think that's everything. Let's see if it all builds. Nope. Oh, right. I forgot to change this one. What else doesn't it like? Obfuscated I get. Huh? That's their expected bool found enum. Oh, is some. Is some. It should be is some. Yes, okay. And the same with this one here. Oh, there. I forgot to remove this guy. There we go. Okay, so let's see if we can actually identify. Oh, we need to add. That means we have to go visit the alchemist and buy one. Okay, we can do that. We did that last time. Let's do it again. So I think that what that means is we need to go, let's reveal the map. Let's find the alchemist real quick here. And then what we'll do is we'll go find some scrolls lying around, if we can. That's the alchemist. Okay, that was easy to find. Okay, so now we'll get identify scroll. Oh, we need money. Let's get some money. So there's the cheap menu, make some money. Let's give ourselves 600 gold. And then we can buy C. There, okay, so I've got 4. This shows that it's still, I'm gonna hit escape. And what just happened? Oh, that was weird. What happened there? I'm gonna hit escape. Okay. So the identify scroll says Iraxiga, but I think, yeah, I took one step and they all flipped. So there's a bug there. When buying from vendors, it takes one move. Scrolls. Identify the items. Okay. All right, so now what we can do is we teleport here and let's go find either a potion or a... Can we pick this up? There's an unidentified longsword. If I hit Shift 3 and hit A, it doesn't say anything. But now it does say longsword -1. So I've been able to identify it before equipping it. That's good. Let's see if it works for other scrolls and things, which should be lying all over the place. Misery says, could you add signs to the buildings that would be visible when you revealed the map? Either a letter identifying the building or some item with a tooltip. That's a good idea. Let me add that. Identify buildings with letters or other means when revealing the town map. I like that idea, Mr. Thank you. And Danny Lou, thank you for the follow. All right, so let's go find a scroll. Which we're not finding any. Oh, probably because the longswords are taking up all of the spawn slots, right? We're more likely to spawn a longsword than anything else. So let me go one level down here and just take a look. Yeah. There's some rations. So okay, there's a scroll. I found one. Okay. A scroll of Awamok. So if I hit Shift 3 now and hit A, see how it used that scroll immediately. So if I hit Escape, I don't get that back. The scroll has been consumed. So now if I hit A, that's a town portal scroll. So if I hit Shift 4, boom, I'm back in town. And that's the other bug, that the reveal tiles are forgotten. So now we don't see the town anymore. I have to re-reveal everything. So we have to figure out how to fix that bug too. All right, so this is identification scrolls. And then fix spawn waitings before we forget, right? Okay. There's a 100. Oh, there's a lot of 100s. Okay, so -1 longsword should be a weight 1, and I change that. Save that, get diff. So this is all just identification. Yeah. And that's all we did. Oh, and that's another bug, right? Work out how to combine all the menu calls functions in GUI.rs to to remove duplicate code. There we go. All right, so git add bugs and raws and source. Git commit -m identification scrolls. Done. All right. So we're actually wrapping up pretty early today. I usually stream for another 20 minutes or so, but I'm going to wrap it up now since we hit the end of the chapter. And the next chapter is going to be items that affect attributes and better status effects. But what I'm going to be working on next week is the crafting interpreters. We got through a bunch of stuff last time, 2 weeks ago. We got a lot of the parser done, and we're going to work on the next section of chapter 6. Hi Kukiro, thank you for the follow. Oh, why does this say D quote? What did I miss? Oh, because I hit an exclamation point. Okay. There we go. And let's push this up to my repo. There we go. So we did a whole bunch of things today. We added the cursed longsword. We made them show up as red. We stopped cursed items from being removed. We added a remove cursed scroll. And then we added identification scrolls. Mizzard says, I've implemented my own interpreter, currently working on the bytecode compiler. Nice. Excellent. One of the things that I'm doing wrong as I'm going through this is I'm writing it in a very Java-like way, right? So I'm just taking the Java code and porting it directly to Rust. So it's more like a transliteration than a translation. So one thing it would be nice to do once I learned how to do it this way is to actually write a Rust, native Rust version of it rather than a Java-like Rust version of it, right? How's yours coming along, Mizzard? Are you trying to basically write a Rust version, or are you following the Java style that he's got here? I've got a feeling that the C code version of it is going to be more Rust-like already. So there's going to be less work to do there in order to get it to be very rusty. Mizzard says, I just used the AST and did my own code for everything. Yeah, that's exactly the right way to do it. That's exactly the right way to do it if you want to make it like a native Rust interpreter. So maybe I will do that as a follow-on project. Okay, so this is going to be in 2 weeks. March 7th, I think, is when I will start this. But February, whatever Monday is, 28th? Yeah, probably the 28th. We will start with syntax errors. So thanks everyone for joining me. I had a great time with this, and I hope you did too. I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you Monday with crafting interpreters. All right, take care.